What if I told you that everything was not quite what it seems? That you have a genetic mutation that makes your brain foggy, your mood unstable, and your energy disappear, no matter how clean you eat. It's called the MTHFR. And if you've got it, nothing you will try will work until you fix this first. If you've tried every single diet under the sun, cut sugar, quit gluten, went vegan and then went carnivore, stacked supplements like a mad scientist, and still feel foggy, tired, anxious, or inflamed, you might be missing the hidden genetic switch that messes with everything, from your mood to your hormones to how your body detoxifies. It's called the MTHFR.
Surprise, motherfucker.
And no, it's not a cuss word, but it might explain why your healthy lifestyle has not worked like it should. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to tell if you have the MTHFR gene mutation, what it does to your body, the exact foods and supplements that make it worse, and how to overcome this problem naturally. Stick with me here because this might be the biggest aha you've had in years. Let's start with the symptoms. See if this hits home. You feel wired but tired all the time. You get anxious or overstimulated easily. You react badly to B vitamin supplements, especially B12 or pre-workouts. Your sleep sucks no matter what you try. You struggle with depression or mood swings. You've had fertility issues or hormonal problems. You eat clean, but then you feel inflamed, puffy, or bloated. And or you've gotten skin issues or weird food sensitivities. If that list made you go, wait, that's me, then this MTHFR stuff is something that you need to understand. All right, what even is MTHFR? Let's say your body's like a factory, and one of the most important assembly lines in your factory is called methylation. That's the body's way of turning raw material into usable tools, like energy, neurotransmitters, detox enzymes, and hormones. Methylation, or turning raw materials into usable forms, is a specific process, and it affects nearly every part of your system. This MTHFR gene causes severely low levels of methylation, but some of us are high methylators. Us high methylators like myself often have too much energy, to the point of where I do not even know where to focus my energy. This is a bad thing because it can lead to feeling overwhelmed, spinning my wheels, and not getting done what I actually wanted to. And this is super frustrating, man. But now you can see that this methylation works both ways. You can feel stuck and sluggish and full of brain fog, or revving high with nothing but some smoke and tire marks to show for it. So this is very important to dial in. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you are low energy and don't have enough methylation happening. So back to the analogy. Imagine your body is a factory, individual to you. Now imagine that one key worker on the assembly line. Let's call him Methyl Mike. Methyl Mike is in charge of turning folic acid, aka the form of folate in most food and supplements, into methylfolate, which is the actual usable form that your body needs. But if you've got that MTHFR gene mutation, that worker is sluggish, maybe working at 40% or even 20% speed. So instead of getting usable tools like serotonin, dopamine, or detox support, your body starts stockpiling raw material that never gets converted. And that pileup starts gumming up everything else. So if you've ever felt like a failure because the clean eating didn't work, the nootropics made you jittery, or had no effect, and the hormone therapy just ended up making things worse, it is not your fault. Because if your MTHFR pathway isn't working properly, you could be stacking all the right habits, but still missing the conversion piece that actually makes it all work together. And now here is the part that nobody talks about. When your methylation slows down, your body can't recycle a substance called homocysteine. Homocysteine is like the dirty exhaust from your metabolism. And if it builds up, it inflames your arteries, messes with your brain, and raises your risk for heart disease, infertility, and even Alzheimer's. And this MTHFR gene mutation is one of the top reasons that your body can't clear it. So how do you know if you actually have this mutation? Option 1 is to get a blood homocysteine test. Ask your doctor for this or your primary care physician, and if it's high, then it's a clue. Option 2 is to do a genetic test, just like what 23andMe does, or any SNP-based DNA testing. You want to look for the C677T and the A1298C. And if you're homozygous for C677T, which means you have 2 genetic copies, one from each of your parents, that is the most severe. But if you're heterozygous, meaning only one parent has this mutation, it can still greatly affect you. Even just A1298C can cause neuro and hormone problems. So if you've got MTHFR issues, here's what makes everything worse and why. Starting off with folic acid. That is the synthetic version of folate. And man, this one, it goes deep and honestly pisses me off. And you're gonna find out in a moment just why. This one is found in fortified breads, cereals, and cheap supplements. And here's the problem. Your MTHFR enzyme is supposed to convert folic acid into methylfolate. But if that enzyme's sluggish from a genetic mutation, that folic acid piles up in your bloodstream. And guess what? This ends up blocking your natural folate receptors, like gum stuck in a keyhole, so even the good stuff can't get in. Now here's the kicker that most people miss. Some conventionally grown veggies, like romaine lettuce and spinach, are actually sprayed with folic acid post-harvest. And this is just done to make them look more nutritious on paper. And why is this done? Because government regulations incentivize food companies to increase folate content. But instead of letting the real folate do the work, they cheap out and they spray it with folic acid. Talk about a failure of government policy mixed in with food companies getting off on a technicality that actually hurts true nutrition. Even if you don't have the MTHFR gene mutation, folic acid still sucks. That is right. So even if you don't have this mutation, I'm about to share some very crucial information. Because folic acid, it's synthetic, it's cheap, and your body has to jump through multiple hoops just to make it usable. And most people, mutated gene or not, barely convert it. And when it builds up in your bloodstream, it does not help. It actually blocks your real folate receptors, and it can hide a dangerous B12 deficiency if you're not careful. So yeah, that fortified cereal or that energy bar that says great source of folic acid, trash it. Get rid of it. Your body deserves better. And yes, even your healthy salad may be jamming up your detox and your mood pathways if you don't get organic. Next to avoid is high-dose methylated B vitamins. Methyl B12 and methylfolate in high doses can feel like rocket fuel for your brain. And if you're low and depleted, it might actually help. But if you already have too many methyl groups and no glycine to buffer them, you can feel anxious, irritable, overstimulated, or even like your heart is about to pound out of your chest. And it's not about avoiding these things, but it's about dosing smart and listening to your body. You should not overdo the dosages, because if you look at the back of most of those crappy energy drinks and recovery drinks, they're going to be sky high in these B vitamins. And that adds up. That's not specific to you. That's just so you can feel something. But with that crazy experience, you're also gonna get a disastrous crash, because this process relies on many different steps. And then, of course, avoid overtraining and environmental stressors as best as you can. Too much high-intensity interval training or intense workouts without recovery, that raises your homocysteine and burns out your methylation system. So does chronic exposure to alcohol, EMFs, mold, heavy metals, tobacco, all of which add load to your detox pathways that the MTHFR directly affects. Now, let's talk about what actually helps. Foods that support methylation and detox without overloading the system. First and foremost, there's pasture-raised liver. Now this is nature's multivitamin. It's packed with natural folate, B12, B6, and choline in forms and good dosages that your body can actually use without needing to convert it. If you've got MTHFR issues, the liver helps bypass the broken steps. And then there's egg yolks, loaded with choline and betaine, 2 compounds that help recycle homocysteine back into methionine. which takes pressure off of your methylation system and helps clear inflammation. Then there is organic dark leafy greens. Organic only here. These are rich in natural folate, not the folic acid. That means your body can use them even with the MTHFR mutation. But like I said earlier, it is very likely that your conventionally grown greens are sprayed with that disastrous folic acid. So always go organic when you can, because non-organic greens are almost always grown in nutrient depleted soil and picked early, which strips them of their natural folate. And then to meet folate requirements on the label, they're then sprayed with synthetic folic acid post-harvest. Organic greens, on the other hand, retain real folate that your body can actually use. And then there's beets and spinach, both containing betaine, which acts as a shortcut to help process homocysteine, even without a fully functioning MTHFR enzyme. Think of betaine as a side entrance that helps keep traffic flowing even when the main road is jammed. And then one of my favorites, bone broth and glycine powder, because your body needs glycine to buffer methylation. And when you don't have enough, methyl groups pile up and cause symptoms like anxiety, insomnia, and even blood sugar swings. Bone broth is naturally rich in glycine. So is collagen and gelatin. This is one of the best things you can add, especially if high-dose vitamin B makes you feel worse. Up next is fermented foods. Also, one of my favorites, because your gut bacteria actually helps convert folate into methylfolate. So when your microbiome's healthy, your methylation gets support from the inside out. Fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, or kefir feed the system without stressing it. And then supplements, yes, they can absolutely help here as well. But only when you go slow and stack smart. Because as we learned, the wrong ones can actually work against you. You can take methylfolate, 400 to 800 micrograms max to start out. You can take hydroxy B12, which is a gentler form if methyl B12 makes you feel weird. You can take magnesium glycinate, which helps with sleep and calming neurotransmitters. You can take taurine and glycine to buffer overmethylation. You can take betaine or TMG trimethylglycine if you have high homocysteine levels. And you can take niacin in low doses. This one can calm excess methylation if you get anxiety. It's always best to start supplements one at a time and watch your reactions. All right, so let's sum it all up here. If any of these things resonated, here is your 5-step action plan. Step 1, get tested. Ask for a homocysteine test, or do a 23andMe or a similar DNA test, and look for MTHFR mutations. Step 2 is to clean your diet, making sure to cut folic acid from the processed foods. And one of the biggest perpetrators of this is bread. Looking at the bread, it's almost always enriched with folic acid. You gotta make sure to eat more organic greens, beets, eggs, and bone broth. And then step 3 is start supplementing smart. Try methylfolate, magnesium glycine, and hydroxy B12. And you should avoid loading up on high-dose methyl vitamins too fast. Step 4 is to reduce inflammation. This one I cannot harp on enough. We're talking limit alcohol, manage stress, get proper sleep, or at least start making progress to improve your sleep. And don't overtrain. Instead, add restorative movement. And step number 5, last but not least, track your symptoms. Keep a simple journal for 30 days. Watch for energy, focus, anxiety, and even skin improvements. Look, I get it. The MTHFR gene might sound complicated, but once you understand it, and more importantly, understand yourself, you'll realize that it could be the missing link between where you are and where you want to be. This isn't about genetics being a life sentence that's never going to change. No, this is about using your DNA as a map, learning yourself so that you know exactly what to do, tailor fit to you. So you can stop guessing, start healing, and finally feel like the version of yourself that you've been trying to unlock. Comment methyl below if you want a breakdown and cheat sheet of these steps. I will make sure you get it. Take care of your methylation, and your body, brain, and hormones will thank you. I got your back. Coach JMO out.